Stand by. Oh, what's up, smarty people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, KeysDAN Show. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote. Also, if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast. It's called What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. Now, on with the show. Today on the program, meet Madge Brown, 101-year-old woman awarded honorary teaching degree from the University of London, London Town. A 101-year-old woman. Don't take a year away from her. Don't you do it. A 101-year-old woman from the Isle of Wight. The Isle of Wight. I'm always looking, well, I guess I am Mr. Right. But anyway, the Isle of Wight has been awarded an honorary teaching degree from the University of London, 8 decades after completing a teaching course at the now defunct Norrington College of Physical Education. Centenarian, I always have trouble with some of those words. Centenarian Madge Brown, along with 94-year-old Sheila Gordon, received a Bachelor of Education degree during a special ceremony on February 22nd of 2023, if you're listening to this way into the future. Both women had attended Norrington in the 1940s, when future teachers were required to take 2 or 3-year training courses per a news release from the institution. The women were the first 2 recipients of the university's honorary teaching degrees, which were presented, quote, in recognition of their dedication to teaching and enriching the lives of young people, end quote. The degrees are part of an ongoing initiative to pay tribute to educators who graduated from London area teaching colleges between the 1930s and the 1980s. After that time, teachers were required to hold a bachelor or graduate degrees. Brown began her course at the college in 1938, taking a year off to work as a nurse during World War II. Before graduating in 1942, she went on to teach during the war and recalls leading a hockey lesson as a rocket careened over the school. Wow. Quote, on the blow of her whistle, the team dived for the floor, and once the explosion had been heard, the team jumped back up and resumed their lesson, end quote. The release states, Gordon finished her course in 1949, a few years after the war ended. Speaking to the BBC, Brown referred to her time as a teacher as, quote, the happiest days of my life, end quote. She expressed her appreciation for the university's recognition and emphasized the rigor of the course she took. Quote, I'm very grateful for this, but it has been a long time coming, end quote. She said, quote, when I left college, they always said it should be a proper graduation because of the hard work we did, end quote. Quote, why they never made the diploma of physical education a degree, I don't know, because it was very intense, end quote. The February ceremony took place at Brown's residence on the Isle of Wight and included family and friends. Professor Mary Stianasi, Pro-Vice Chancellor, International Learning and Teaching at the University of London, presented the women, both of whom donned University of London regalia with their degrees. Ha! That's some pretty cool news. Hey, hope she teaches for a long time more. Madge Brown and her friend, Sheila Gordon. That's it for this edition of KeysDAN Show. Stick around for more. Some more interesting stuff. Well, at least stuff I find interesting. And if you like it, hey, maybe you'll stick around with me. Like, subscribe, share, do all that kind of stuff. Also, if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast. It's called What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. That's it for this edition of KeysDAN Show. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.